In this video, guys, let's have a look at what's next for cable after Brexit. Stay tuned. Hey traders, warm welcome to you. Alright, so pound, US dollar, Brexit has been done. It's been finished. Moving on. Still got the COVID pandemic, of course, to deal with, but that seems to be a global issue. UK's just gone into lockdown again. And this is the kind of situation we're in. So pound USD, big dip on COVID, retrace that, and we had all this kind of choppiness when we were kind of coming towards a deal. No deal, deal, no deal, deal. And the general feel was this, regardless of kind of your perspective on things, was the market was generally bullish for the pound if there was going to be a deal, and it was bearish if there was not. We kind of had these little dips lower and it wasn't going to be a deal, and then it recovered, and then we moved up, and kind of around here, I think it was the 25th or 24th, we got a deal. Now, you know, you would expect, and kind of we've come quite a significant move off the lows, to be fair, but I think you might have expected it to be more of an aggressive move if we had a deal. Now, the volatility's died off a little bit, and you start to think, is this a sell the news type situation? i.e., been waiting so long for a deal. Now, there is a caveat to say that maybe the perception of the deal isn't that good. Maybe people in the know who know more about these things than I do have looked at the deal and thought, hey, it's not that great, and it's kind of one of those imbalanced situations. Or maybe it is a situation where, you know, we've had this run, the deal is done, and is it a sell the news type thing? Or on the other side of that, let's kind of look at the other side of the argument. The other side of the argument, which is kind of maybe the traditional side, which is why I'm kind of presenting to you maybe a sell the deal type situation, sell the news type situation, is okay, we've got a deal now, Brexit's done, there's no cloud hanging over it, are we going to kind of chug on and the market's going to push up to where it was? The only thing I think, and by the way, guys, I don't know if I'm going to take a position on this particularly. You know, I need to see some price action to kind of determine this a little bit better. It feels very choppy to me. We do have this scenario here where, you know, we've got this kind of trend line here. Perhaps if that breaks and we start to get lower, it might be worth a shot, you know, with that wind behind it and that kind of thesis. But it's holding, it's not exactly sold off. Maybe if we start to take out this low as well, because this was the kind of low when we thought we hadn't got a deal. I remember this kind of wick on the daily, a daily chart, by the way, if you didn't know. You know, but we are above the COVID highs. You know, it's an interesting situation. What I wanted to kind of present to you really was to think a little bit differently. Whether or not this comes, whether this kind of rolls over or not, is very often, you know, we have this whole buy then rumors sell the fact thing comes from the situation in price, where very often price will sell off on good news. We see that a lot with stocks. We see that a lot with you know other things that are really fueled by news-driven events. But really, you know, if we'd have sold off heavily and kind of held lower, that would have been a real yes, sell the news type event. Let's get short on this. Let's see if it pulls the rug. Everyone's got long, thinking the deal's going to make this thing go back to 1.5. It's not going back there now. Maybe it'll roll over. That would have been better. And, you know, I probably would have been saying to you, hey guys, this is a much better situation than this. But it's worth thinking about. Now, who knows if it's going to go higher or lower. But, you know, the key is with price action type trading is to look and see how price responds to a specific event. Sometimes it's a prior high, sometimes it's a prior low, sometimes it's a break, sometimes it's news, sometimes it's a catalyst. But it's when price responds to an event. And now we have a deal. What's going to happen over the next couple of weeks? We haven't had much price reaction either way, to the upside or downside relative to the kind of move we've had. Yes, we've had some kind of moves on a short-term basis, and if you look at them, absolutely they're okay. But on relative to what's been done in the prior kind of few months or prior half of the year, it's not that much. So, you know, do we have a trade where there's a telltale sign where, hey, everybody who is trading cable is saying, hey, there's a deal been done, and I think it was the 24th, guys, but around this point. And so what's the response to that? At the moment it's pretty muted. If we start to roll over, then you start to say, okay, have people bought this and now there's no more buyers to come in after the deal, so it won't move any higher? Don't forget though, guys, it's a currency pair, so we've also got the US dollar strength and weakness to contend with, as well as just the pound. So you kind of look at it in this way and go, That's a focused anchor point that everyone is looking at price relative to. That's a reference point that everybody has. You know, the same situation we have when we break a kind of proper high. You know, if we break a proper high, everybody's looking at that level and seeing how price responds to it. Same if we have earnings, everyone's looking to see how price responds to earnings. This is something, a line in the sand, that everybody's looking and seeing, hey, this is what price is doing after we've seen there's been good news or bad news. And you could theorize and surmise that actually it's good news for pound, it's good news for cable, so you would expect the market to move higher. So far it has. So far that's the way it's gone. But let's see. If it starts to roll over and pick some momentum up, maybe there's a short side opportunity. If it carries on kind of stagnating or pushing to highs, then you know the opportunity's gone and that thesis is different, and maybe there's a different price action, pure technical play that comes out of it. But I just thought it was worth mentioning. I was kind of thinking about the lockdowns and everything, and I'm looking at some of the different markets that were influenced by it, and thought, hey, you know what? It's a bit of a muted event. We had the Brexit deal, and it was highlighted the deal, and this, that, and the other, but cable didn't really do much. Yes, it was over the holidays. Yes, a lot of people weren't in and traders were off. I get that. So that probably contributed to the kind of muted impact on the market. But still, you know, it's something to watch out for. And I think even if it doesn't play out with cable now, it's something to think about in terms of how price responds to certain events in the future. Anyway, guys, that's kind of some of my thinking, just going through some of the charts at the moment. Thought I'd share that with you. Anyway, guys, take care. See you next one. Keep the risk managed. Whatever you trade. Bye-bye.